She said, the first thing she came out of her mouth, she said, unless they go to school, they're not going to get these jobs. They actually going to, that research park is coming, and they're very quiet with it. Why do you think they're very quiet with it? I mean, I tell people, I say, why do you think they're not really publicizing that research park? Because they know people are going to find out what type of education it needs, okay, so we can compete too. That's all it is. That's why I believe in getting information, bringing it back. I like to let people know what's going on around here. I wish a lot more of our people who are in positions like that will bring the information back. You know, let people know this is what's going on. Brothers, stay in school. I'm serious. UNL, I mean, those 12 years are going to fly by. You know, college on the flight, it's going to fly by. Stay in school. But that's going to actually prepare you to where you need to go in life. It's going to give you that foundation that you need, even when they deal with money. You'll know how to sit there and look at a contract and say, hold up, I'm not going for that. You understand what it means to borrow money. Or what it means, okay, if I want to own this, if I want to own that. How easy it is to start your own business in America. It's so easy right now, it's unreal. And you know, what it truly means to really be successful. People can only, how can I say, take advantage of you because of a lack of knowledge, which you don't know. I'm going to show you something. Most of you, if you've been through Winston, you know what Northside Shopping Center is, right? And I'm not talking about people, I'm ready to just publicize something right quick, but I'm not really down in it. They got a legitimate business, but the hair shop over there, ran by Koreans. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Most of them, don't you know, they put up shop and get all their money. 95% of their clientele is black. But they don't spend a dime back in our communities. They won't put one dime back in our communities. Exactly. They take it and what they do, they move it. They take it back to their communities. They will not spend none of that money back in our black communities. That's what I'm saying. If we understood that concept, it's okay, they make it, you know, they making this, that, this is legitimate business, but we understood, okay, how can I start something like that? Or if I want to do something different. But brothers, always remember, education comes first. Keep that education first. Education. I know school is boring. It can get boring. But education comes first. It's going to take you where you need to go. I see too many people taking advantage of it because they just don't have the right education. It's not, they don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar if they just understood how to connect the dots. You know, if they understood, okay, the mindsets out here. No matter what people say, people make blanket statements all the time. Blanket statement means one statement, that statement covers everybody in the group. But hey, all you gotta tell yourself, look, that's not me. That is not for me. I never forget, when I quit teaching public school, I went to a credit union to work. And I never worked in the financial industry in my life. I've always been in education. But I just got tired of teaching public school. I went in, I had to go in from the ground up. What I mean, I had to take the lowest job in there was a teller. And I never forget talking to this couple in my teller window. And the husband, he was cool. You know, we were talking about, I told what my background was. His wife looked at me in a very negative way and said, well, what are you doing here? Why you got this job? She just really just put it down. I said, well, ma'am, I got a plan. I really want to see her now. I really want to talk to her now. I know who they are, but I hadn't talked to her. I hadn't seen her. I want to see her now. And sit down and say, ma'am, thank God I was stronger than that. But you can hurt the average person by saying something like that. My plan was to move on up around here. I've been promoted 3 times in there. And my thing was, if this right here, really, if it's in you, you do it. How far y'all brothers want to go in life, y'all do it. No matter what they say, what people say. As far as if you want to go, as far as wherever you want to go, whatever your dreams are, you go. But it's going to start with education, preparing yourself. And the financial side I was talking about, that's just part of it. That's just one small part of it. But money, you can deal with money all your life, though. But it's just, if I know how to handle money, if I know how to control it, that's all it takes. You don't have to be a mathematician or even a financial expert really to control money. If I understand the future, I look down towards the future. I'll show you one more, and I'm close right there. We're here. I was reading a blog one day, and they made perfect sense. They were talking about racists in Winston-Salem. You know, this is a pretty rough time, I put it like that. They were talking about the racial aspect, and they were trying to down the Hispanic race. But this lady came back and shut the whole conversation up with something she said. She said this right here. She said, one thing you won't see is a Hispanic out there on the corner with a sign, asking for money. And I asked my wife, I said, you ever seen it? She said, I never seen it. That's something. You know they got the lowest unemployment rate right now? So they got more whites unemployed than they are Hispanics. They don't mind working because they understand if I do this little bit today, it's going to amount to something big tomorrow. Look at other people sometimes and say, I might need to take that mentality. It's doing something like that. Brothers, thank y'all for having me come. Any question about anything? Yes, sir.
What if it's young people like myself, like we already have a dream, and like I know for myself, I'm going to start a corporation, and right now I'm trying to figure out the capital structure and stuff like that. So I already have the required business knowledge, but I don't necessarily have the degree or anything like that. Is there any opportunities for that? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, the federal government, how old are you now? 17. This is good. And I need to give you my number too. Please, the federal government has something in place right now. And don't worry about if you don't have a capital structure. That's what people are going to throw at you to keep you from actually fulfilling your dream. They say you don't have a capital. You don't have a capital to start this. This is what they do. It's called. It's on the SBA, SBA.gov, the Small Business Association of America. This is what it is. They will back your capital for you. They don't give you the money. They don't loan you the money. They'll back it. What I mean by backing is right here. Once you get up to the point when you're ready to roll and the lender's ready to trust you, you keep that dream. You keep it. You might just start on a small scale, just doing it something real small. But then once you're ready to go with it one day, you get a small bank to say, look, I got it. The SBA already approved me. They're gonna back me. One of the small community banks. Reason I'm sure why I say small banks too. They will actually loan you the money because it's backed by the government. They give you a capital. That's where it comes from. The reason I say small banks, your larger banks won't really touch you unless you got $500,000 on up in deposit with them. They output with the big guys. Most big corporations start small minimum. You gotta find your way, that's your niche in there. The government have these opportunities already set up. They're already there. And that's one. That's the biggest hurdle for most people is capital. You know, it takes at least, what corporation you want to go into. And also this right here. Do this right here. Whatever business you want to do, I give the same advice to everybody. I have a friend who did this and his business took off. Find somebody who's already doing it. And you find somebody who's already doing it. This is what you do. You come in contact with them and say, look, I'm 17 years old. I want to run this same business one day. I'm going to tell you how to do this to make it where you won't even touch their clientele. Find you somebody, start with the West Coast first. Find you a company out on the West Coast, California, Oregon, or Seattle, Washington, somewhere out that way. And just say, look, can you mentor me? You'd be surprised how they will help you do that. Because first of all, you're not going to be their direct competition. They're not worried about that. You say, I'm 17 years old, and I want to move into this one day. You will find one that will actually help you do that. I got a friend, his mentor's in San Antonio, Texas. He lived right in Winston, and he showed him how to get his business off the ground. And that guy is still mentoring him today. That's all it takes. That's why I mean always find somebody who's already going where you want to go. But the resources for the capital is there. It's there. It's hidden because basically the federal government, they don't advertise a whole lot of things. We have to go find it. And the reason I found this out, I was in the workshop about 2 weeks ago. That's how I found this part about the SBA, how they'll back these loans to people. They don't loan the money, but they'll back it. It's like, I'll give you a good example. I'm a veteran. When I bought my home, by me being I used a VA loan. When I bought my house, all the government said they gonna back the house. They back the loan for the bank. When I borrowed that money from the bank, the government just backed that loan. That's all they do. It made it a secure loan. Give you a good example. Most of us been to Chick-fil-A before. Don't you know? I don't know. It used to be $5,000. I don't know what it is now. But that was the easiest franchise to start one time. You want to start it, but you don't own the business though. But that was one of the easiest ones to start. All it took at one time was $5,000 and 2 essays to start Chick-fil-A. And then you have to actually be willing to work it. You can't just manage it and not be on scene. Other than that, the easiest franchise to start is to own is Subway. Low expense, very minimal. But you know, I'm give you the idea of what capital is. All it takes is a little bit of capital, you know, to get things started. They coach you along the way. But you find whatever you want to get into, you find somebody's already doing it. And you say, look, study them. Say, can I mentor it? And then say, can you mentor them? But that's a good way to do that. Keep that dream. And before I leave, I'll write something down for you. I got my pad back there. I'll write something down for you to check that out. Any other questions, brother? Yes, sir.
So there's going to be a lot of changes in the neighborhood. There's going to be a lot of construction here in the neighborhood. Is there a timeline for what's going to be happening with Cleveland projects?
They don't know yet. It depends on when this grant is funded. Right now they're saying about 2 years. They say it'll be 2 years before they start tearing down Cleveland projects.
And has there been any discussion on areas such as this in the neighborhoods that they're doing? For instance, this is a big building, a big parking lot, takes up a lot of space around here. Do they have discussed what they might want to do or how it's going to affect places like this?
They haven't. That did come up one time, but they were saying in some of these areas you got a lot of churches and other businesses around here. Their thing was just to work around them. That's all they're going to do, is work around them. And I even mentioned it one time when we met over here at the community center. I say, well, brother, I'm affiliated with the Salem Lodge at the Lodge Hall. I say, I'm one of the masons up there. I say now, and first thing he asked me, he said, why don't you do this here? He said, why don't y'all come into the meeting sometime? He said, we want the community's input on how we want to see this community change. But they're not going to really, I don't think they're going to be buying a property, trying to move people out like that. It's just really the housing authority. But there's always another hidden agenda behind it. And that's one of the things that that's what we're looking at, because they want to tear down Sunrise Towers too. They want to tear that one down. And then, matter of fact, I take the Sunrise and Crystal Towers.
Right.
They want to get rid of both the towers.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'll give it to you, Brother Bailey. I'm going to get a copy of that diagram for you. The whole blueprint that they showed me. I can get a copy of it. And what it is they show them what their proposed changes are to this area. They're not going to tear down Piedmont Circle. The goal is, and this, because I asked the question, they moved to what's called working communities. A working community is, Charlotte was the first one done it in the country. Charlotte made national news when they did theirs back in the 90s. But Charlotte went hardcore with this. And what a working community is, no longer can they live in these areas rent-free. Or basically not work, just keep it not work. They gotta have a job, they gotta work at least 30 hours a week now. They have to. They've already moved some of their communities like this. But this whole area is gonna be like this now. And their thing is, and I asked the question, I said, what if they don't want to go to work? They're gonna dump all over people in circle until there's no more room. I said, what happens then? They become homeless. That's why it's really, it's fair, but it's not fair, what they're really doing. Then this is the question. We've been bringing everything in. We notice, almost everybody knows how they're building up downtown, putting condos and apartments downtown. And the biggest thing, I met a guy from Denver, Colorado, when I was in Charleston. And he was telling me, kind of gave me, he's one of the big city organizers out there. He said, every city is doing this. He said, because I think Denver copied Charlotte, North Carolina. How Charlotte has done neighbors. He said, what it is, a lot of people are moving people back into the city now, to work in the city and live in the city. But what they're doing, they're pushing the low income out now. And we noticed this last year. You notice the transit, the bus routes now, they go all the way to the county line now. They send the bus routes further out now, because they can start moving the low income people back out to the county lines. That's what they're gonna start doing. And basically, it's a shift that's going on. It's gonna take a while to make that shift work, but that's what's happening. But people can benefit from it, or they can be hurt by it at the same time. That's why we're trying to really warn people that they know really what's going on. And thank God I was in the position I was in. We were recruited by the housing authority. They actually came to my job. And two of the young ladies who were managers, they came and sat down with me, two sisters. They sat down with me, they broke it down to me. And I wrote not the business, the financial plan for them, for the other side of it. What we do, we teach the tenants who get rid of the Section 8 people who want to go into home ownership, we're teaching them right now. and some of the public allocated to really be financially steady. But that's one of the biggest things, and we're gonna see going on. It's been real quiet right now. It's got these committees meeting. What they did, they got a, what was it? They got a $500,000 grant just for planning alone, just for planning. So they got all those over here, they're planning. But the biggest question that we brought up, I'm going to say the biggest question we brought up, okay, when you start construction, don't hire all these outside companies, out of state. How about employing some of these people right around here? That's what we're fighting right now. We're going to employ people around here that got schemes. You know, that's the biggest thing we're looking at now. You know, if you're going to do this, don't go grab a company out of South Carolina and bring them here to work. You know, we got people that are skilled laborers right around here. You know, let's just look at that. Yes, sir.
I have a question for you. Would you be willing to talk to Kids Day Committee? Okay, the Kids Day Committee. You heard the Kids Day Committee?
Yes. Kids Day, yeah.
Okay. Brothers, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you something, but you need to hear this. Went to Kids Day meeting yesterday, and do you realize that we only got 5 months left before Kids Day come up? 5 months. When we started out, we asked you all, what did you want to do? And we said that we would let y'all take the lead, we would back y'all. We got only 5 months. So I'm going to ask you brothers to get together, even with us, and talk to us and let us know what you want to do for Kids Day. Because right now we're trying to get the money raised for you to do whatever you want to do, but you know, we got to start moving. It's 5 months to be over with before you know it. And I would hate to disappoint you all by saying we're going to stand by you, but we don't know what you want to do. What the brother here is saying just gave me a whole lot of thoughts. Our original goal is to raise $10,000 for you all. $10,000. Simple way to do it. Everybody pay $12. That's all. Just $12. You don't have to put on no hard work about anything. You just pay $12 and that money goes into the pot. That money is there for you all to do what you want to do with to advance yourself with. But you all are going to have to come up with some kind of idea for me to give these people, because we can't wait any longer. We're going to talk with the gleaners and tell them the same thing. Because it was the knights and the gleaners in that first meeting that said that you all wanted us to give you history, you all want us to help you with things, we're here for you. But we can't read your minds about what you want to do. You know, what he's saying, I really was paying attention to it, because let me ask you a question. Let's say we raise $10,000, and at the end of the year, when August comes around, we've got $10,000. You all come up with something that you want to do. Let's say it costs us $4,000. Oh, when it's over with, you got $6,000 still left to start out the next year with. See what I mean? There's no point, I just don't see the point of raising the money, spending all of it, and then you're going to turn around the next year and do the same thing all over again. You brothers are intelligent. I know this, I've seen it, I've watched you all. You all are intelligent. You all have the smarts to do whatever you want to do. But don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. We're here for you. All of us are here for you.
Many kids at the house, they probably don't even have access to a computer, let alone internet. So one thing you could possibly do is like donate some laptops or some